Hello and welcome to episode 50 of Retro Recall the PS1 Chronicles, a show where we play and rank every PlayStation game ever created. My name is Jimmy, and as always, I'm here with Mike.
Hello. So 50 episodes, that's insane.
I know, this is the last episode of the year right now. Crazy.
It's incredible to me how fast it flew by. Like, it feels like it's only been a couple months. We've already done, 50 plus games at this point.
It's crazy thinking we've played 50 PS1 games this year.
Yeah. But I love it. I mean, we talked about it with Medieval and stuff. Just games I've always heard about that I just never got a chance to actually play. So it's nice to actually get into this and play the games I've always wanted as a kid.
Yeah, and I also just enjoy playing new games every week. Like, you never know what you're going to get. Like, it could be literally anything. It could be complete trash. Could be one of your new favorite series that you want to look up what's going on today. It's gone both ways multiple times for me.
I mean, case in point, Silent Hill. We never ever would have touched that game had it not been for the show, and we love what the game is because of it now.
You can extend that to all horror games, really. But
yeah. But what's been going on with you?
So I kind of fell off playing Metaphor already. I mean, I played the demo.
Oh no.
I got about 4 or 5 hours in and I'm like, is this really what I want to do right now? Like, you know what I mean? Like, do I want to go this deep into this?
Spend 80, 90 hours into it.
So instead, I started another 80, 90 hour game.
Oh no.
This is going to date the episode a little bit, but the Yakuza show came out this week on Amazon Prime.
Oh, okay. I didn't even hear about this.
It is fine. It's
fine.
like, it's all right. It's no like, it's no Last of Us. It's no any of those, but it got me thinking, and I haven't played the newest one in the series that came out earlier this year yet.
The man
it was
with
on
the
sale.
dragon tattoo or something?
The Man Who Erased His Name. I did play that.
Okay.
But Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, which is
the
8th game in the series. Yeah.
That's the one I was thinking of. I just couldn't remember the name.
So I played a few hours this week because I was just really thinking about playing it after watching the show. So I think I'm going to stick with this one. I mean, I've played 5 of these games already. So
yeah. If there's anything I ever know, like if I were to ever pick up the Yakuza games, I'm coming to you to ask because I know you played all of them and you have a strong opinion about it. So like, that's just the game I associate with Jimmy.
I've not played all of them, to be fair. I haven't played 3, 4, or 5.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, you can kind of jump around a little bit. I mean, you'll miss some of the context, which I have, but it doesn't really matter.
So, I mean, how is it right now? Do you like it or?
I'm still very much in the beginning of the game. So lots of cutscenes, you can't explore yet, really. I finally, I think, just got to where you can start exploring. So, I will check back in on this in a couple weeks. Hopefully I'm still playing it, but
so it's kind of like a Persona then, where it's like you have this really long build up to like get into the game, and then you can finally play.
These games have so many cutscenes, so I love them. Obviously, I mean you're there for the story,
right?
And the beginning is very much like walk here, cutscene, walk back, cutscene. It even does this thing where it blocks off parts of the map that you just can't go there right now.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, I'm sucked into it. It's, I've played so many of them. How can I not love this one too?
They look like fun games, honestly. It's just, and the exploring, I've always talked about this. I love exploring a game. So like the fact that you can go exploring and find a karaoke bar and go do that for a little bit if you wanted to.
I'll keep this discussion brief, but the thing I love the most about all these games is it kind of feels like each one is a new season of a show. You know what I mean? So like the first 6 all take place in the same city.
Okay.
And as you play them, there's other places you go to, but the main area is this one city. So as you go through it, buildings change, new stores open up. One game has construction, and then in the next game, it's built.
Oh,
it's like
that's cool.
Little things like that, and you learn the city. Like I know how to get to places in this city without a map. Like they're like, go to Millennium Tower. I know how to go there without any help.
That's actually a
It's crazy.
pretty unique way to go about it. Instead of like a GTA where it's a new city every time that you have to relearn the map, keeping it all the same and is like, oh, now things are built. That's very clever. I like that.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that kind of made me love the series. And obviously, the main character just changed recently because they ended his story, but the old main character is back in this one as like a side character.
Oh, nice.
So I'm looking forward to getting through it. So I will update again, but I think we should just start talking about the game we're playing today. So I want to start with, have you seen Die Hard?
I have, yes. I watched the original first one whenever I was younger. I haven't gone back as an adult to watch it. I probably should.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably seen a few other ones, but the ones that stick out the most in my memory are the first one and the one with Adam Long or something. Is that his name?
Adam Long? I don't know who you're talking
Is that
about.
not his name? The guy from what's that movie? Where he makes his own college?
Justin Long.
Justin Long, that's it. I knew it was Long. Yeah, that one. I think that was what, 4 or something?
I've never seen a Die Hard movie, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, wow. Was not expecting that answer.
That's why I wanted to ask you, because I'm like, I don't really have context for most of this. I've definitely seen parts of the first one for sure. Like,
Yeah.
whether it's like on and my dad's watching it or like, I don't know. I just never really felt the need to watch it. And I know that you're like this too. There's so many 80s and 90s action movies I have not seen.
Yeah.
I've said this before on the podcast probably, but I've never seen Terminator, never seen Predator, never seen any of those movies.
Oh, man. I've Terminator definitely watched as a kid. Can't tell you anything about it. And I don't think I ever watched Predator. I might have been too scared about that as a kid.
The funny thing is it's not scary, but
I don't think so either. No.
But yeah, I want to go back and watch a lot of these series because I've never seen them before. So
yeah. And I think from what I can remember, I'm pretty sure the first one holds up very well to time.
I feel like they all probably do. I mean, there's a reason the series kept going until like, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Bruce Willis is just old now. Yeah.
Yeah, they can't just keep making this old guy jump around and do action stuff.
Yeah, it's not like Indiana Jones.
But yeah, so the reason we picked this game was because it's Christmas this week. And we thought, what would be funnier than to play Die Hard as a Christmas game?
Yeah, there's the whole bit about, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? I mean, it's not, but I love that idea.
No, yeah, it's like, just because it falls on Christmas Day does not make it a Christmas movie. And it goes back to that argument of, is Nightmare Before Christmas a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie? Because it deals with both.
I always thought of it as a Halloween movie, but like, does it matter? I don't know.
So yeah, I love that we picked this for a Christmas game.
We had a couple choices, and I think this was the funniest one. So
yeah, you just happened to mention this, and we laughed. And like, yep, that's it. We need to do this now.
All right. So with that, I think we can just get into this game. Die Hard Trilogy was released on September 18th, 1996. It was developed by Probe Entertainment, which later became Acclaim Studios London, and published by Fox Interactive. This is a weird one because it's an action game, but each movie is a different genre. So Die Hard 1 is a third-person shooter. Die Harder is a light gun game. And what's the third one called? Die Hard with a Vengeance. Yeah, and that one is a driving game, like action driving.
Yeah.
And this was requested by Last Real Playa Alive on Spotify. Didn't love saying that, but that's fine.
Yeah. So thank you for the requests. And I mean, this goes for everyone out there. Like if you have a request for a game, just throw it out there. We'll add it to the list, and we're not going to get to it quickly, but we will get to all the games requested.
Yeah, I mean, because of my touring and everything, we record episodes really far in advance. So even if we added it to the list right now, it wouldn't come out for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
So overall, jumping in, I mean, what was your first impression? Because mine was not great.
Now, when we picked this as a joke of doing this for a Christmas game, I specifically told you, oh, this is great because I played this game all the time as a kid and I had this game. I couldn't have been more wrong about that. Whenever I jumped in, seeing the shitty choice of picking your game,
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't remember this at all from a kid. Did I just block it out from my head? Didn't realize that I had the game Die Hard Trilogy 2, not the first
Oh.
one. So,
Well, all right. I mean,
yeah, it's the keyword on the menu, and the music is just rough.
yeah, it doesn't look great. And it's kind of almost charming in a way, the way that each time you go over one of them, they play a voice sample, but you can go really fast and they'll just all talk over each other.
Yeah. It's like just pulling lines from the movies to put over top of it when you go to that one. And I love how he just says, yippee-ki-yay. It's like, finish that.
He says it so much in every single game. They say it all the time.
Yeah.
He's just like, yippee-ki-yay.
Like they just had a few lines and they're like, just keep recycling them as they play.
Well, I think the guy who's like voicing Bruce Willis, one, sounds nothing like him.
No.
Like, not even close.
There's some things he says are like, this could kind of be close, but yeah, he just tries to do that raspy voice.
Just sounds like some guy. To me, it doesn't even sound like he's trying to do an impression.
I agree. And it's just another keyword for this entire thing we're going to be talking about is minimalistic. The options are minimalistic. Your choices of the options you can change are minimalistic. It's almost like, I was going to say this for later, but it's almost like just in the menus alone, the bare minimum for a game.
Yeah, I mean, I think this discussion's going to go game by game, but overall, this whole thing very much feels like, oh, I have an idea. That's it. There's the game.
Yeah. And we've talked about it before with like Driver and stuff, how, oh, we have 3 good ideas. Let's turn that into a game. This is just like, let's make a game. That's about as far as they got.
Also, bringing up Driver, we're going to get to those comparisons later as well.
I knew we were going to get into that.
I also think it's funny that as you go into each game, the shitty FMV that plays.
You mean before you like, whenever it's like or start game or go to exit?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, with the hotel.
No, I just meant like whenever it says like game start options, when you go into each one, it plays another FMV and it just looks terrible.
Yeah. Nothing about this looks good. And that's what threw me off too. I'm like, it really started to question myself about what game did I play as a kid? Because I knew it was Die Hard and I'm like, it did not look this bad to me. And on top of that, the music was just like generic action movie music, I guess.
I'm not going to lie. I kind of liked the music in the game.
Okay. Yeah. I wasn't paying attention enough.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't know. There's not really a lot more to say in the overall sense of this. So I think we can just hop into the first one, Die Hard, which, like you said, is a third-person shooter.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at the footage here now. It's something, that's for sure.
I was waiting to see how you were going to describe this. Okay, I guess we start with the sprites of like the people. It's like a 3D model of a body with a JPEG for a head.
It kind of reminds me of like a lot of those shows from the late 90s, early 2000s where it was a cartoon, but it had a real face on top.
I don't know. Oh, yeah, I do know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I can't remember the names of the shows, but like even farther, it kind of reminds me of like Robot Chicken in a way, the way they used to do that a lot too.
Yep. That's a great comparison now that you say that.
I don't know if I would say the graphics are horrible, but they're They're fine. Like, I don't think they're that bad. It's just weird looking.
Graphically, not bad. I can't get over the bodies to the head. How different it is.
The thing that really got me with this one was the draw distance. As you can see, you can barely see that far in front of you.
Yep.
But what's nice is you can shoot people through that darkness. Like, it does still register that they're there, which you're going to have to utilize.
It's kind of nice because you can just pop into it to see the person, then back away. They can't shoot you anymore, but you can shoot them.
Yeah, I mean, so what the goal is of these levels is you have to just kill everybody. You don't have to get the hostages. I mean, they give you more points if you do, but at the very least, you have to kill everybody. And as you play, more people will spawn. They'll come down elevators. That's literally it. You just run around this map and kill people.
I will say I do like the little details where if you're quick about it and you run to one of the corners, you see them having a meeting about what they're supposed to be doing.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. Like if you're quick on the draw, the instant you leave the elevator, you just run to like one of the corners. There's one guy telling the other guys what to be doing, and it's like 6 of them. So if you wait, you kind of just let them spread out, and then you can take them out one by one, or just throw a grenade in there and kill all of them at once.
Yeah, I mean, how far did you make it in this one?
Not far. I tried so hard, and I got to level 2.
Oh, I definitely made it to like 4 or 5 at least.
You were doing so much better than me.
So I learned what the trick was for me was obviously all the other guns you can find are way better. They're really good.
Mm-hmm.
Shotgun was my favorite weapon because it kills everybody in one hit. But when you're back to the pistol, what you can do is after you kill a bunch of people, it takes a while to reload. So if I ever had like 3 or 4 bullets left, I would just empty the clip and then let it reload before the next encounter.
Oh, okay.
Because you have unlimited ammo. So, and these guys take like 2 or 3 hits with the pistol at least to kill. So,
right.
You don't want to get into a scenario where there's a bunch of guys on you and you have no ammo.
True. And I think that's where I was getting into the most trouble. It was just, I'm encountering this guy and now I'm just clicking away, waiting for it to reload.
Yeah, and you lose health really fast in this too.
Yep.
No checkpoints, no continues, run out of lives, it's back to the beginning. And that's true with all these games.
That was the worst part. And I'm looking here, you're doing incredible on your gameplay. For me, I was just a struggle. By the time I even made it to the second level, I had maybe 3 hits and I was done and back to the first level to do it over again.
To be fair, what I'm showing you here, and I skipped intentionally, was this is my second time playing it because the first time I died like immediately on the second level.
Oh, okay. Which I think is kind of brutal because with this first game, you're working your way up the hotel.
There are 19 levels.
Yeah, so imagine being on 18 and then you die and it's like, all right, back to level 1. Got to do it all over again.
It's ridiculous. But
and no saving too. Did we say that?
No, but no saving at all for any of these.
So it's just like they intend for you to just plop it in, play, and then start over next time you want to play.
It's just ridiculous. And the controls I also wanted to bring up are fine. Like, I don't think they're bad, but they're definitely not ideal.
Nope. It's smooth, I guess, for what you're doing. Like the whole like action rolls to the side, left and right, it works, but I kind of wish if you're already throwing that in there to make him a little bit more nimble.
Yeah, I mean, the best way I can describe this whole thing is, in general, to me, is this feels like almost a prototype for like Siphon Filter or something.
Yeah, you can just stop at it feels like a prototype. That's what it feels like.
I just mean like this has all the things that you do in Siphon Filter. It's just in a confined area and not as good in every way.
Yeah, I like the whole thing of like, you can see through walls to see, there's someone in here. And just, I like the confined areas and exploring the buildings, going into different rooms.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just not well done.
Yeah, and like the end of every level too, it says a bomb has been triggered and you have to hurry up and get there in 30 seconds, which is like, okay.
The first time on the first level, it says the bomb has been triggered. I'm like, cool. What does that mean? And I'm just exploring, and then I died because I didn't know I was supposed to go to the elevator.
That's funny, but the game over screen is also pretty funny. All the hostages just dying.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's just so brutal.
Especially when they show you like, because at the end of every level, it's like, oh, or whenever you're done, it's like, oh, here's how many you saved, here's how many you didn't. So whenever it's like, oh, here's how many hostages you saved, it's just killing the hostages you didn't save in front of you.
It's just so bizarre. It's so just visceral for no reason. They're all screaming.
Catching on fire, and like, what is this? What are they doing?
It's like, why did you do this? It's so just unnecessary.
And I'm looking at this. It looks like your technique was just literally run into the room and shoot everyone.
For sure. I mean, I even killed hostages sometimes. Who cares?
Yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit. But I kind of played it more. And the way I thought about this too is it's kind of like Pac-Man, where the enemies are like the ghosts. So you're trying to navigate your way around the maze and kind of waiting to pick one person off at a time.
Yeah. I mean, I can see what you mean.
But then I got impatient and I'm like, I just want to get to the shooting parts. And then that's what killed me, of rushing into areas.
Yeah. I mean, I also barely ever use the grenades or anything. I would just forget about them.
Same. Or you accidentally throw one and you're like, oh yeah, that's not what I wanted to do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have that, but. So is that thing in the top right how many enemies you have to kill, by the way?
So great question. This UI is terrible. It took me forever to figure out what was going on with this, what they're trying to tell me. Now looking at this gameplay back and not actually playing it, I want to say you're right. Like maybe that's a number you have to hit before the bomb goes off.
Well, it was down, and then I saw some more guys spawn in, and it went back up. So I think it's just the amount of enemies in the map total.
Interesting. I could see that.
I don't know. I mean, regardless, this game is just not great. Like, I don't really have that much more to say about it because there's just not that much going on. There's no depth, there's no story, there's nothing. It's just like kill them.
There's no aiming.
I didn't really have too much of a problem with that, just because it pretty much auto targets for you.
Does it? Well, I mean, as long as you're in the general area.
Like if you're pointing at them in some way, it will hit them.
Like this is what I liked about Die Hard Trilogy 2 is it's better graphics than this. It's more, I would say it's a more refined version of this game. And I know we're going to be playing it at some point because it's also on PlayStation. But they give you a laser pointer for your gun. So it's like, okay, aiming was a problem. Now we can let you aim more efficiently, I guess.
Yeah.
But the one thing I will give it a positive, I do love how when an enemy is aimed on you, it shows you in the bottom corner where they're aiming at on you.
I was wondering what that was because it's just, you're in the middle of all this shit. So you're not really thinking about what's going on like that.
Yeah. So it's one of those things that it's like, oh, they're aiming on your chest. And that's whenever you can, whenever you roll, your character literally rolls on their aiming reticle and you get out of the way.
That's cool.
It's a nice little touch.
I mean, like, we're being pretty negative about this, but I don't think the experience of playing it is super negative. I think it's just, if you know what you're getting with this, because essentially all three of these are like arcade style games, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
So, as long as you know what you're getting going into it and don't expect a actual like action adventure story game, then I don't really have a problem with it. I don't think it's very good, but it's not offensively bad either.
Yeah, it's just very mediocre. That's all I can say about that. I don't have anything more to say.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing I'll say about this before we move on is this was the only game of the three that had a stable frame rate, which I enjoyed.
Spoiler, it only goes downhill from here. For sure.
Well, would you say this is the best out of the three?
Yes. Hands down.
I have a hard time. I think, I don't know. I'll save that judgment for the end. But what were you about to say?
Okay. Did you want to do the average of, or not an average, but like here's a blanket score for the first one. And then they don't have to be averages at the end.
Yeah, I thought about that. Then we didn't really talk about it. But I would probably give this one like a 5.5, somewhere in there.
Yeah, it's for what it is. It's
Maybe
not
even a
terrible.
6. Yeah.
I was going with a 5, like for a rough number.
Yeah. If it wasn't 19 levels and it didn't have no saving, I think that I would feel a little differently about it. Like, I don't know. Did you look into it? Is there saving like if you get to a certain point, or is it just you got to do the whole thing?
I don't know. I just assumed you had to do the entire thing because out of all 3 of these, I've never hit a save point.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I made it to level 4 or 5. I forget. I mean, you'll see in my footage, but the levels are all the same. I can't distinguish half of them. I never hit anything. I thought maybe when I hit like a bonus stage, that's where you would save, like a Crash Bandicoot type of vibe, but no.
It just goes back to the whole being an arcade style game where that wasn't the focus.
It's just so many levels, and I think that playing all of them straight together like that would be like at least an hour.
If not more. If you go in guns blazing like you did, sure, you can probably get it done fast. But if you went with my way of being more tactical about it and taking people out one at a time, that you're just gonna sit there for a long time.
Hey, there's a lot of value for your money here, but
I guess so.
all right. We've been talking shit on this one for long enough. I think we can move on to Die Harder now.
So this is the light gun game where you're in an airport shooting people. What did you... Okay, so you said you weren't sure. We can save it for the end, but I would assume you think this is the best of the games, right?
I don't know. So, right off the bat, I just think this is a standard light gun game. So by default, it's really not that bad.
Yeah. But we have Elemental Gearbolt to compare this to.
Oh, compared to that, this ain't shit.
This is nothing.
But I just mean, like, for light gun games, most of them are pretty simple. There's not a lot going on. I think that this is just aggressively average, but not outright bad.
That's a great description for it. Yeah, and I mean, just trying to move quickly with a controller is almost impossible.
Oh, you did it with a controller?
Yeah.
Oh.
You have to.
I told you don't have to. What do you mean?
Wait, what?
So yeah, a big complaint at the time was this version or the Sega Saturn version didn't work with all of the light gun games that most people had. Like, the GunCon was for all the Namco ones. Or is that Capcom? I forget. But for all of the ones that you would want to play. Like, Elemental Gearbolt works with all of them because, you know, they're smart. This one only works with the Justifier on the PlayStation. I don't know if it works with the PlayStation mouse. I didn't check that, but like, who had that anyway? Let's be
exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's good to know. I use the controller, and when we were talking about how you can kill the hostages, I'm pretty sure all of them died whenever I played. I just was open firing.
I played this with a controller for literally 2 minutes, and I was like, absolutely not. I can't. How far did you get?
Not far. I made it to the second level on this one too, because it was just almost impossible.
So obviously I use the light gun settings and then use my mouse, kind of like how we did Elemental Gearbolt, and I thought it was fine. Like, I played it like a light gun game. It's, I don't know. What are you going to say about it?
So so for me, it kept doing this weird thing. I don't know if it happened because you were using the light gun thing of, it would zoom in on the cursor. Did that happen to you at all?
I don't think so, but if it did, it doesn't stand out to me.
It was the most disorienting thing I've ever experienced, where like I'm shooting and it like keeps mega zooming into the characters. I'm like, what are you doing? I can't see anything going on anymore.
Are you talking about like what's going on my screen right now?
Kind of, but imagine that up close to the people now, and it just keeps zooming into them.
I wonder if it did that because you're playing with a controller to make it easier for you, but instead it makes it worse.
It was so terrible. And you were also talking about the frame rate. If you throw an explosive in this and kill a lot of people, the frame rate goes to about, what, 2?
Yeah, especially when you get into the later levels and there's a lot of enemies. I skipped a little bit later in my footage just to show you a little bit here. It gets out of control. It sometimes it looks like a fucking slideshow.
Yes. I don't get how it's so like poorly optimized for this game whenever like really not that much is going on.
One of the notes that I had for this, and it's a weird thing to say, but I think you'll know what I mean. So when we were playing Elemental Gearbolt, you felt the progression through a level. Like those levels were beautiful. There was so much going on. I don't think any other light gun game is going to meet that one for us. But
Probably not.
for this one, the maps that you're on are like small, and it's so strange because you're just kind of walking back and forth in a small area the whole time.
Yep.
It became really clear to me on one of these later levels, like where you're in like a snowy area by like a church, I think, and you're just doing circles around the church over and over again with new enemies showing up. That's it.
Same with the very first level at the airport where you're like, oh, I'm going to go over here, shoot these people. Now turn to my left, shoot those people, turn back to my right where I was just facing. Oh, now there's more people there. It's like you couldn't have done a little bit more with your level design.
And what's there is like whatever. Like you could have just had, like, for example, with this snow one, you walking through the forest with a bunch of trees. That would be more exciting than just circling the same building for 10 minutes.
It's like you're patrolling the church and just like whoever pops up, you just take them out until you walk around again.
It's just bizarre. And like the graphical weirdness that you were talking about in the first one is also here with like the faces. And because it's closer here, you just see the same faces all the time. And
Yes.
the way that they move and turn, it kind of reinforces what I was talking about before with like reminding you of Robot Chicken or cartoons or whatever. They move in ways that like almost make them feel like puppets or something.
Yeah, puppets was the way I was thinking too. It was just not natural, just very poorly rigged characters.
It's almost like Team America in a way, the way they move sometimes. Like
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
the way the hostages are running, it really reminds me of Team America.
And that's the thing too, is with these hostages, you're just shooting crazy. And then all of a sudden the hostage will just be like, I'm with the bad guys running with them. It's like, why? Why did you? I get you needed there for the obstacle, but it makes no sense.
There's also no penalty for killing them. So like,
Not at
what's
all.
it fucking matter?
And in the very beginning, I was making sure to like, oh, I'm going to be precise with the shot. But then it just got to the point where I don't care anymore. They're all dying.
So I made it to level 8 out of 9 and then I died.
Oh, no.
But if I'm being completely honest, around level 6 or 7, I was like, I don't really want to play this anymore. So I stopped caring about playing well.
Yeah. So it since you made it so far, it just becomes very repetitive, right?
I mean, it's a light gun game. There's not really anything new they're introducing. There's no interesting mechanics like you fight a helicopter a few times. I mean, that's pretty much the most interesting thing I can think of.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting is a word for sure.
So then the other big problem I had this was my cursor clearly being on a guy. I'm pouring a magazine into him and I still die because he kills me. Like, how did none of my bullets hit you? Did you have that happen?
No, but I think that has to do with using a controller and probably not aiming like exactly right.
I don't know. There were times whenever a guy was running and I was able to just headshot him, like quick snipe. And it seemed like it was more handholdy there. But then whenever a guy's just standing in front of me and I'm literally right on him and I can't kill him, and I was so frustrated.
Well, there's certain guys, it pops up on the top, it says like head honcho, and those are like mini bosses, and they take a lot more hits to kill. So that might have been what it was.
It could have been, yeah.
Also, I didn't properly keybind any of this stuff, so I didn't use any of my extra weapons this whole time. I was already in the middle of it, so I'm like, I don't really care.
Yeah. The other thing too is like, have you ever had it where you're playing and then all of a sudden the camera just goes down a new path you've never been down before?
I don't think so. Like, what do you mean by that?
So on the airport one, you know how after you shoot those people, then you go into the airport and start killing all those guys. So like the second or third time I played, I killed the guys outside and the camera goes to go inside and it's like, oh, never mind. And then we stayed outside for a bit, walking around outside, killing people. I'm like, what is this? How did I trigger to not go into the building until later?
I mean, is that cool or bad? I don't know.
I don't know. It was weird. And then I'm in the airport killing more people. And then it's like, oh, you found a hidden pathway. And then the hidden pathway is just my guy turning around and walking back the way I already came.
Yeah, I mean, I like that there's different possibilities. I didn't find any of that stuff, but
I couldn't tell you how I triggered it. I don't know.
it's just cool that different things can happen. That at least brings it up a tiny little bit for me. I'm not going to lie. But for the most part, this is just so standard and whatever. Then coupled with the monotony of it and the frame rate issues, it really brings it down.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd probably go with like a 4 on this, 4.5
Exactly.
maybe.
I was thinking 4 as well.
I don't know. Whenever I feel relieved that I lost because I don't have to play it anymore, that's when I knew like I cannot give this anything high at all.
No. And at least throw in variety, at least for Elemental Gearbolt. Sure, it comes down to your shooting, but every single level was different and you had different enemies you're fighting or killing. So it's not like you're doing the same thing, even though you are, but it makes it new.
Yeah, I mean, Elemental Gearbolt had different levels, it had different enemies, it had different paths you could go, all the secrets. It just felt like they really tried to have a take on the genre and not just shit out a shitty Time Crisis clone.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much more to say about that.
No,
So,
we went farther than I thought we were on that.
so I actually played a little bit more of the game today. Like right before we did the show, I didn't play any more of the light gun, but I played more of the other two just to kind of refresh my memory.
Mhm.
I found Die Hard with a Vengeance to be a little more fun than I thought it was the first time.
I'm all ears on this one. I want to hear why, how.
All right, so to get us started, this is literally a shitty clone of Driver.
Mm.
You just drive to different points on the map. That's it.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, there's a bomb. You got to get to the bomb to deactivate it. Oh, now you deactivated that one. Now you need to get to the next one. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, the controls are super like loose, but also tight. It's so strange to describe.
The way I was thinking about this was it's a driving game where they make the driving portion of it very difficult.
So I did kind of get used to it when I was playing today, and I started to have a little fun.
Okay.
Sometimes you also have to destroy cars, by the way. But I ended up making it to level 6.
Wow. You made it so much farther than me.
Well, I was like, whenever I first played it, I played it all in one day. So I played all 3 games. And when I got to this one, I was so burnt out, I think, by the time I got through the light gun game that I couldn't really give this game a fair shot because I was already annoyed.
I get that.
So I came back to it today and played another like half an hour of it. And once you get used to the controls, I mean, it's still like the other ones, aggressively average, but I think it at least has a little more fun to play, has a little more fun in it compared to the other two.
That's an interesting take. The controls I hated whenever you're going slow and you're trying to turn, it's almost like you're driving in mud and it doesn't want to turn at all. But yeah, when you're going fast, you're fine and you can turn it as easily as you want. If you start to slide trying to correct your car, doesn't happen. You can't do it. If you hit an object, game's over for you. You cannot. Like those pillars underneath the bridge.
Yeah.
You hit one of those, it's like you're about to crash the game because they weren't intending for you to do that.
So I just kind of like the chaos of it. Like you're hitting a million people and killing them all. Why? Why is that in this game?
Okay, that is one part. If you are in first person and you hit a guy, blood sprays over the windshield and then the windshield wiper comes on to clean the windshield. I love that, and that's probably the only thing I love about this.
You're killing lots of people too for absolutely no reason.
They're just running out in front of your car.
But like whenever you hit a car, it all of a sudden turns into like Destruction Derby and there's just giant pileups everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I love the chaotic nature of it. I mean, is it great? No. But none of these are great. So that's why I would put this one probably at the top.
This is at the top for you. Holy God. This is the bottom of the barrel for me.
Listen, they all aren't great. So
They're
what
not.
are you gonna say?
My problem with this is, so you do the first one, you get the bombs, you get the car, and then you have that bonus thing with that race with the dump truck. Don't understand that or why you're doing it, but you do it. And then you just go to the next level and it's get the bombs and get the bomb car. So it's like, okay, is this the entire loop the entire time?
So when you beat this level and you go to the next one, it's another race with a dump truck.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, unique. I love it.
I think they just alternate the whole time.
So it's literally bomb, race, bomb, race, bomb, race.
I think so. I mean, like I said, I made it to level 6, so I don't know if it continues. Now, me saying it's the best in this collection doesn't mean that I want to fucking play it. Like,
if you had to pick one, you would be going for this one.
yes.
I will say I do like it too because they give you lives.
So every dump truck level has an extra life in it, which is nice.
Oh, okay, yeah. And then it's not like the other ones where it's one death and you're done. This is like, oh, you have one more life left to make it happen. So,
well, what's nice is as you're playing the dump truck level, you can never lose because there's always an extra life every time you die.
oh, okay, I didn't know that.
So no matter what you do, you're at least coming back with the same amount of lives that you had.
Okay. Now another thing with this too is that clock in the bottom, and I just saw it happen on your footage, which is why I want to bring it up. Which is all of a sudden it like grows and takes over your screen where the hand of the clock is now impairing your vision like that. And I don't understand why.
So that means that you're about to run out of time.
Oh, okay.
So it comes up on the screen to be like, hurry up. The first time I played this the other day, I did run out of time a few times, but like once you kind of get the hang of it and learn how to do it, it's not really that complicated. You just have to like not crash.
Yeah. And the thing that put me over the edge was I failed a few times, and in the park, I just happened to bounce next to the lake and I tried to correct and I couldn't correct my car and I went into the water and died. And I was like, all right, I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
So you'll see in my footage from today, I fell into the water twice at the end of the mission. And I'm like, I just want to fucking beat this. Just let me beat this, please. I really did have an okay time with this. I'm not going to lie. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great.
I agree with what you're saying. It's not bad. I just find the repetitiveness of it where it's what we've been saying this entire time. You do the one thing on the one level and it's what you're doing for the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, you said the main word was going to be minimalistic, but I think the main word here is repetitive and uninteresting, really.
That is very true. I just meant minimalistic as in, hey, let's do a driving portion. Okay, we just need to make sure the car moves forward. And that's pretty much all you do.
You know what would have been a lot cooler is if they created a story game and all of these things were different levels in the game.
And you are talking about Die Hard Trilogy 2.
Okay, all right.
So I don't want to go to. That's why I haven't been comparing the two. But you just described that game, so
yeah. I mean, like if the game started, you're running around shooting, then you get into like you end the level at the airport, and then all of a sudden it's a light gun game.
Are you sure you didn't play the second one?
No, I haven't. But like
that is legitimately what the second game is.
Well, that's sick. Maybe it'll be a little more fun than this then.
Yeah, I think so, yes.
I was just trying to think of like what went wrong with this. Like how could you improve it? And that is what I would say right there.
How you could improve it was actually put more effort into your game. But I do like how we didn't bring this up, how when the car's on fire, it catches the pigeons on fire.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, because I always thought the car was shooting like missiles at me. And then I noticed that is the birds trying to fly away and they catch on fire. And it's another little cool detail that I like.
Yeah. And that's the thing. This game has some little details like that. And then you play it more and you're like, why am I playing this? I don't know. Like I'm saying, I think if what you're saying is true, then this sequel fixes it. But combining all these things together would make it a lot more fun with a through line. Not just like, I'm going to sit here and play the same car level 6 times. If I played it 6 times over the course of a 10-hour game, yeah, that's cool. But playing them all back to back, no.
Yeah. Give variety. Give something. It's like, yeah, having a through line, like you said, would be great. Having just not the arcade aspect of it and not the repetitiveness of just doing it over and over again. I just that's why I'm so frustrated with this.
Obviously, if you've listened to this show, then you know that we like arcade games too. That's the funny thing.
Yeah.
This is just done so poorly, they don't have any incentive for you to want to keep playing. It's like, you play one level, and that is the whole thing. The best arcade games, they iterate on it. They add more things to it. But with this, they don't really do that. You're still just doing the same thing from the first level the whole time.
Yep. And that's a great point. Yeah. If you wanted to play this, play the first level, and then you can move on to the second game. Play the first level, move on to the next game. And you're never losing anything. You're never winning anything.
Like, if you unlocked more shit, like, let's say I'm doing really well in Die Hard 1. Then I start a level with a really good gun. Even if it has limited ammo, that's still a cool idea.
Yep. Just anything, honestly, instead of just, here's your game and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much more to say about this.
I'm out. This is, honestly, on my document where I take notes, this has been the shortest amount of notes I've ever taken for a game.
I have short notes for this whole thing, honestly.
No, that's what I mean, for everything. It's 3 games, and it's the shortest amount of notes I've ever had for an episode.
Yeah, I know. I had more notes for fucking Namco Museum.
Exactly.
That should say it all it has to say right there. But if I was to give this game a score, I'd give it like 0.5 over whatever I gave the first one. So like a 5.5 or a 6 or whatever.
I think you're insane. I think it's a 3, just like with the second game.
Whatever. It's really not.
It's really not, yeah.
See, now I'm questioning my score. I had one, but I think it might need a change. We'll see.
Maybe. But first, reviews. Yeah,
so let's get into these reviews. How does it make you feel knowing this game got extremely high reviews?
Very angry.
So GameSpot gave it a 9.4 out of 10.
How much money did they get paid to do this?
I know, right? So they said, the key to this collection is that each game soars to the top of its respective genre with sharp control, some of the best polygon graphics we've ever seen, and superior gameplay. One word of warning, however, all 3 games are fairly hard, and there's no adjusting the difficulty.
It makes me angry to hear this review. So, I had to pull this up before the show because I'm like, I had to find the year that it came out. I had to go through. Soul Edge came out at this time. Resident Evil came out around this year. Like, all these games that are so much better looking than this game. How can you say, oh, this is the best polygon graphics we've ever seen?
I got nothing. I picked this one just specifically because I figured it would make you mad. And it worked.
It does. Like Soul Edge. Like the greatest, like the backgrounds in Soul Edge alone are better than this entire game.
And that game runs super smooth.
It does. I don't understand. It makes me angry.
I also don't even agree that these games are hard. Like, they're not that hard. They're just poorly designed.
Yeah, great point. Yeah, it's whenever I died, it's just because I was getting impatient and I just didn't care to play anymore. And if I took my time and wanted to get through it, sure, I probably could have beaten it. But there's no fun to even want to do that.
I feel like I could easily beat all these games.
Oh, yeah.
But why would I do that? Why would I waste my time?
I agree.
All right, let me read this other one. I picked a new reviewer for you. So, Game Slice Weekly.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, right? Gave it an 84 out of 100. And they said, overall, Die Hard Trilogy is an incredible value. 3 very good products in 1 excellent package. The old adage, the sum is greater than its parts, is indeed true within this product. Although each game would get a lower score individually, the entire package is an incredible value thanks to 3 unique products which cash in on very popular game genres.
Yeah. I do kind of get it. And I at least appreciate that he acknowledges, or they acknowledge, that if it was by themselves, it would get a lower score. Together, sure, you get the variety. I understand where they're coming from with that, but do I agree with everything else? No.
Well, that brings us to our scores. I'm actually going to let you go first because I want to
knew
look at this list while you're talking and just kind of figure out my score real quick. So take it away.
I expected to go first for all this. I don't have anything else more to say. This is boring to play. It's just wasn't fun. There's nothing to it. I'd much rather play the second one without even ever looking into it more, just from my memory as a kid. Second one is so much better. This, I was looking at our list of what, like, because I knew it was going to be towards the bottom. I'm like, how far down on the bottom is it going to go? I just have to rip off the Band-Aid. This is going to get a 3.5 out of me.
I think that's a little harsh, but I can understand.
I will say it was lower, and you raised me up a little bit with how you were talking about it.
I also have the bottom of the list open on my other screen right now, and I'm looking at where I want to place it. And I would play it over a couple of these games. I mean, I don't need to repeat everything we've said this whole episode. Like I've said 2 or 3 times already, this game is aggressively average to even bad at moments, for sure. But I would still rather play it than some of these games down here. So
Okay.
I think I'm going to go with a 4.5.
Wow. So you're putting it up there with like Soul of the Samurai.
I had a little bit of fun with it, but the fun gets ruined. And I feel like that's the same thing with Soul of the Samurai, right?
I guess. Yeah, I can't argue. And it's not too much different from mine. If we get the average of that, that's 4. That puts it below Star Wars and above Lego. I think that's a good one.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And I just think it's funny that we're in trouble when you go, wow, that's high, when I say 4.5.
I was not expecting you to like it as much as you did.
I mean, I still didn't like it that much. A 4.5 is bad. I just like, I liked a few things about it, and I liked playing it for the little bit I played it until it got old, which was really quick. So
yeah, I get that. All right, so this is going to put it at 53, which is right below Star Wars.
No ties. Surprising.
It's always interesting to me whenever we have a new average that we haven't hit before.
Well, with this being the last episode of the year, I think we're going to start hitting every score pretty soon, I would imagine.
I think so, yeah.
But all right, that is going to do it for us. Thank you so much for watching or listening. If you enjoyed this, please remember to like and subscribe, as well as give us a rating on podcast services. We'll see you next week.